Did you know there are billions of dollars of undiscovered treasure out there just waiting for you to find it? Which made me wonder, what happens if you actually do find the treasure? Do you get to keep it? This is a list of all of the treasures that are still out there. Throughout history, incredible treasures have vanished, leaving behind stories fueling the dreams for adventurers. Like the Flor del Mar, lost at sea in 1511, full of gold from the conquest of Malacca, the Copper Scroll treasure, a list of gold and silver from the Dead Sea Scrolls yet to be found, or the legendary cache of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine in Arizona's Superstition Mountains. These are just a few examples of many treasures that are out there. But are these just fantasies, or have there actually been any discoveries at all? I'm sure you've seen the videos of the guys at the beach or on TV with the metal detectors. And have you ever wondered, have they actually ever found anything, and did it pay off? Because it did for this one guy. Check this out. In 2009, metal detector Terry Herbert decided to try his luck in a farmland in Staffordshire in English countryside. He came across an artifact, and bingo, over the next 5 days, he found enough gold objects in the soil to fill 244 potato sack bags of gold, worth about $5.5 million in what is now known to be the Staffordshire Hoard, and is the largest collection of Anglo-Saxon gold and silver objects ever found. But did our boy metal detector Terry get to keep it? The answer is yes. Him and the farmland owner split the shares, the $5.5 million, 50-50. How about the holy grail of shipwrecks? Yep, that was found too not that long ago. The Sea Search Armada from the US struck a deal with the Colombian government where if they had permission to search and they were to find the treasure, they would split it 50-50. Now after having found it, there are issues on the split and who can rightfully stake a claim. So now Sea Search Armada is suing the Colombian government, and the lawsuit is ongoing to this day. However, many other groups are trying to lay a claim to the treasure, like the Spanish government, because Spain could never have enough treasure, and indigenous groups and local descendants of Afro-Caribbean communities who argue they're entitled to reparations because their ancestors mined the treasures. Either way, the ship hasn't been dug up yet. Between the Colombian government, the US search group, the Spanish government, the environmentalists who don't want this to be dug up at all, it's a mess. But there's about 20 billion reasons people are gonna find a way to do it, and in 2026, they're hoping to do so. This is my favorite story. A few years back, in June 2020, this saga captured the world's attention for a decade.
A New Mexico man is revealing new clues about where he hid a possibly multi-million-dollar treasure. Forrest Fenn
treasure hunt, and they're learning the story is even stranger than they ever imagined.
The story known as the Forrest Fenn treasure was found, hidden somewhere in the Rocky Mountains by a guy named Fenn, an art dealer and fighter pilot. This treasure consisted of gold, valuable artifacts worth over $1 million. Fenn created a challenge with a cryptic riddle and poem he released publicly, and he said anybody that solves this cipher can have and find the treasure. It took over a decade, but eventually it was discovered by Jack Stoop, a 32-year-old medical student from Michigan who had been drawn to the hunt 3 years earlier. He managed to find and decode these clues after extensive research and exploratory trips. Despite the excitement from the public's curiosity, he chose to remain anonymous initially due to potential legal and physical threats from other treasure hunters. So what if this happens to you? You find some expensive, buried, long-lost treasure. Do you get to keep it? Should you remain anonymous? The answer is a little surprising. Many of the laws vary depending on what the treasure is, how it was found, where it was found, and which circumstances was the treasure buried or lost. But in most places, it must be reported to the authorities, with some countries offering finders a reward while claiming the artifacts as cultural heritage. Keeping it without reporting it to anyone can result in serious legal problems. In 1988, Tommy Thompson made one of the greatest underwater treasury discoveries in history. The SS Central America, known as the Ship of Gold, sank in 1857 off the coast of South Carolina during a hurricane, taking with it a fortune of gold from the California Gold Rush. Thousands of pounds of gold were recovered. But 2012, some legal troubles began. Thompson failed to appear in court and disclosed the location of 500 gold coins. Those were worth about $2.5 million, leading to his arrest in 2015 after he went on the run. Held in contempt of court, Tommy has been fined $1,000 a day since December of 2015 and has been in jail since then. Despite this, he claims that the missing coins were transferred to somebody in Belize, but that hasn't been proven. To be a successful treasure hunter, you have to understand not only recovery of these artifacts, but you also have to be an expert in the law. Whether you're a history nerd or an adventure enthusiast, it's impossible not to fantasize about finding buried treasure. Sure, you may have to split the gains with other people and those who may stake a claim, but beyond all that, there's something more. And perhaps some of the best adventure stories are still out there, yet to be written.